What's up, Ben Salem? I'm Laura.
And I'm Victoria, and this is OTN. On Thursday, December 15th, former NFL players from the My Cleats organization came to talk to our student athletes about pursuing a professional athletic career.
The student athletes enjoyed talking with the players and asking them questions. Now let's take a look.
First, the former players introduced themselves and described their personal stories before opening it up for student athletes to ask them questions.
This is important to me. Let me tell you why. I grew up in Compton, California, and nobody ever came to my school to say anything to me. So whenever I have the opportunity to speak to young men and women, it's super important to me. Super important to me. Because if you can say this, or if I can say this, no one, I guess, believed in us enough to even come back to give us hope. Okay, last of 8 kids didn't have much. I affectionately say that the reason why I only eat the breast on the chicken is because the only thing I had when I was a kid was the neck and the back, and the gizzard and the liver. So from that, growing up in Compton, California, most of my friends are dead, on drugs, or locked in prison. By the grace of God, He allowed me to survive. And the room for my escape was sports.
Throughout the night, the former players stressed to the athletes that they should not let others' doubts get in the way of their own goals and dreams.
I was told often when I was in college, and high school really, was that I was too small to be a running back in a professional league. So that gave me incentive to try to do better, to try to prove everyone wrong. So I had a chip on my shoulder for most of my college career, and I guess that's why I was successful in a lot of things. But don't let naysayers or people who doubt your abilities steal your thunder or kill your spirit. Just keep that alive.
I don't want to interrupt you, but again, that's so true. I never played football until I was a senior in high school. I loved all sports growing up in Baltimore: baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey. But if you have a dream, keep it alive. And so many times you hear people say, "If you're not big enough." Anybody here ever watch the Eagle games on Sunday? Do we watch the Eagles? Okay. Anybody familiar here with a guy named Darren Sproles? Darren Sproles is a great football player. It's probably his 11th or 12th year. Darren Sproles is about 5'5", maybe 5'4.5", and he's playing in the NFL. I know you may read in the program that it says he's 5'6". You put a tape measure on him, you'd be shocked how tall he really is. But it doesn't matter. He has great skill. He has great courage. Imagine how many times he was told he was not big enough. So don't let anybody dash your dreams, as what Joe said. Again, you imagine a coach tells him he's too small and he makes it in the NFL. I mean, that's amazing. But I just wanted to share that off of what you said, Joe.
When I came in, I was told I was too small to play defensive end. And look where I'm at.
Stand up so they see how small you are.
I was considered being too small to play defensive end. And I proved the NFL wrong that I was able to play defensive end for 8 years in the league. So, the thing is, if you have a dream of becoming a professional athlete, or whatever your dream is, keep your eye on the prize. Don't let anybody take it from you. It takes a lot of work. And just constantly work towards your goal. And that's the most important thing of all.
Dreams without goals, and remember this, dreams without goals will often lead to disappointment. Dreams without goals will often lead to disappointment. If I have the goal of being a great football player and I don't do the things that are necessary on the goal chart to hit that mark, if I don't strengthen myself, same thing in the classroom. If I have a goal to be an A student and I don't study, it's going to lead to disappointment. And the same thing in life, whatever it may be, your profession, whatever you may do.
After being asked about the differences between the high school, college, and pro levels of athletics, the players described the different standards that professional athletes are held to.
So when you're in high school, maybe only a handful of you that are really outstanding athletes. In college, there might be a few more of them. But when you get to the pros, everybody's outstanding. Everybody were their star player in high school, their star player in college. So the expectations that you might have had going into the pros, thinking that, hey, I was drafted number one, but you have a whole team full of number ones. So it humbles you a little bit. It really does humble you to the point where you can't, walk around, with your chest out, puffed out, and expecting everybody to kiss your ring. But if you put that in perspective, if you keep it in the right frame of mind, you can handle it and do it.
You're being held to a higher standard on every level that you play. Again, whether you're in junior high school, college, or pros, because you have to go from one level to the next. And not everybody's going to get the chance to go and play in college or professionally, whatever. And I think it's really important that at this level, the junior high and high school level, you want to elevate yourself to the highest level. And that's where a bunch of the things that we were talking. I had only met Cedric one other time, and it was back in November. I think it was about a year or so ago. We had a meeting in Philadelphia. I didn't know Cedric was from Compton. That to me is, you're talking about peer pressure right there. Compton's in the LA area, yeah. And I'm amazed, from some of the professional athletes you hear about guys and girls in college or coming from all levels. Obviously, he didn't, subject himself to the peer pressure. And again, it's believing in yourself, and not only on the athletic field, but in the classroom. In high school, you have to get the grades in order to be able to play the next game. So, always try to, whether it's at the high school level right now, that's what everybody can relate to here, hold yourself to the highest standard.
They also stressed the importance of being able to accept constructive criticism as an athlete.
Honestly, if you can't take constructive criticism being an athlete, you shouldn't be an athlete. And actually, it's probably all these guys would agree that constructive criticism is carried over. Being able to receive constructive criticism has carried over into a wonderful trait outside of sports. Because that's about life. You're going to get criticized, right? You're going to get critiqued. People are going to talk about you, talk about your back, talk about you in your face. So at the end of the day, one of the most humiliating times I know for me was film sessions. On the sideline, you have selective amnesia. You're like, I didn't do that, coach. I was in the right spot. And the coach used to, affectionately say, the film don't lie. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And inevitably, he'd run that reel back and forth. This was before DVDs, Blu-ray, and digital. But he'd just run it back and forth and just pause it sometimes and just put you on blast in front of all your peers. Not to mention, right, guys, during halftime. So you go out, think about this. Think about the context. You go out and have a terrible half. You come in for 5-10 minutes. And then you got to go, and they just rail into you. Then you got to go back and do it better. After being, some words you can't use, but at the end of the day, they'll cut you up, slice you down. But at the end of the day, I know for me personally, all it did was it's registered as, okay, he's seeing something I don't see apparently. I have to trust his input, and I need to somehow correct and find something within me to do it better this time. And I think it's super important because that's a rule of life. You're always going to have people that see something that you don't see, and you're going to have to take honest inventory of yourself and correct it to get better at it.
And I tell you, the word that he uses, trust. You must trust your coach to give you the vision to win and help you win. You must trust your teammates to listen to your teammates and be part of a team. A team is a unique grouping of people. They believe in a vision, whatever that vision is. So if you're outside that vision, you don't help the team. So listening is very important, whether it's film sessions, whether it's gathering, whether it's the night before playing a team, whether it's being in the right spot, when the coach tells you to be in the right spot, is important. Listening is important. It helps your team. Continue to do that, because what happens? People are watching. If you want to go to another level, they're watching. They're watching how you take criticism. They're watching you react to it. And you can be a great athlete and score more points than everybody else. But again, the attitude is part of that also. So, constructive criticism is good.
They closed out the night with an important message for all athletes.
Your mental state should be, at whatever level you're playing as an athlete, that it's a privilege. It's a privilege to play. Not everybody has talent. Not everybody can do the things you do. But it is a privilege. If you don't have that perspective, get it. It's a privilege to play. Listen to people who can help you. It's a privilege to play.
To that point, a lot of times you don't realize it's a privilege until it's over. Right? I mean, a lot of times, like, man, I didn't realize what I had until it's over. So if you can get that tonight, get it while you're going in. Like you said, God has given a rare few of people to make it to a high level of sports or in any area of life. And God, by His grace, has given you that privilege. So to me, in my personal life, that's my higher standard.
The organization even handed out free sweatshirts to all of the student athletes who came. After the program, we spoke one-on-one with one of the players, Ron Davis.
Thank you for welcoming me to this great facility and the great students and athletes and teachers and administrators here at Bensalem High School. It's inspiring. We feel very blessed to have done what we've done. And we want to give back to the community. We want to give back to students. And we see a greater mission to help really visualize success. And that's one of the parts of our mission. I think basically believe in yourself. I think one of the things that happens is that confidence sometimes wanes when you don't get what you want. Believe in yourself, and as I said, have goals that are attainable. People have dreams. People dream, but have goals that are attainable as you step forward, both in the classroom and in the field, wherever you're playing.
We also spoke with Mark Cohen, a Bensalem Township School Board member, and asked him what it was like to have professional athletes come and talk to our students.
It's a great honor, and we want to thank the former players for coming out. My Cleats and the Bensalem Education Foundation, of course, sponsored this event, and I think like even everybody can learn something from this, and they can learn a lot about life.